we got a week break before heading to where, Nick?
I don't know where we're going next. Where the hell are we going
Japan.
next? Oh yeah, Suzuka.
Just
Legendary
giving
track.
him a layup right there.
Technical
We're not
track.
going Dutch, as Katie likes to say. Where are we going?
Sorry.
Dutch.
It's been a day. I had to listen to Russell Wilson talk today. Okay, excuse my lack of
I'm
memory.
sorry.
Yeah.
Giants country.
Or you know what? I'll save it for NFL talk.
Let's
talk.
giant.
Yeah, we're going to Suzuka in 2 weeks' time, or next weekend. So we have a week off. We're not going to do our podium predictions this week. We'll do that next week. But I do want to say,
Or we can take the week off. That's fine too.
Katie's just producing on the fly. Sure, we can do that too. We all deserve a week off.
Not that I don't love hanging out with you guys and our loyal listeners.
But Katie's always down to just take a week off.
God, that's gonna stick with me for days.
Speaking of getting the party started.
For the victory lap though. They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I stress overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Switch gears, we're keeping haters in the rear. At the blood, sweat and tears and my goal so near. I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear. And today, we break through. 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 And today, we break through.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Gridiron Podcast. It's episode 60 of the only podcast. 67,
60?
I should.
67.
It's episode 67, if you were going to let me finish. I caught myself, and you guys just jumped down my throat. Jeez. It's episode 67 of the only podcast in the world, if I may continue uninterrupted, that combines the love of Formula One and American football, that being the Gridiron Podcast. As always, I'm Sean Barie, stationed here. Not stationed, it makes me sound like I'm some sort of like soldier or in the army. I'm not. I live and work in Tampa, Florida, holding down the fort in the land. Joining us always is NFL.com talent writer Nicholas Shook.
Oh,
And he's
excuse
wearing-
me.
Not Nicholas.
I'm using his full government name. I was about to say, he's wearing sleeves today, and he takes off the sleeves to flex. Nickomania's running wild on you, brother. God, for our audio listeners,
Hell yeah,
it must
brother.
sound like we are a weird bunch, which we are. And anchoring this weird bunch of just enthusiastic Formula One and football weirdos is our Canadian queen, Katie Caldwell, holding down the fort up in British Columbia. How are we doing this week, guys?
Hello, friends. Also, legal name, just Nick, as we've learned on the... I think we learned that on the podcast.
Did we really learn that on the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I always do forget about that. I just call him Nicholas. It just sounds more, you know, like when your parents get upset, like they go first name, middle name, like... I can't get upset. Like I can't be like Nick. Like that doesn't sound like I'm upset at him.
No, my mom used to do it when I was a kid. Nick Gregory, but she never really had to. I was a really
Gregory.
nice kid. I didn't get in trouble a lot.
Man, if you ever made it to Hollywood as an actor, Nick Gregory would be a pretty kick-ass, stage name.
Or just Nick Shook, because it's 2 syllables. Nothing hits harder than Nick Shook.
Yeah, but
Right.
two
That is a
first
good name.
names as 2 first names, like Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Like that's a good stage name.
Or
That's a good
Sean
stage name.
Barry. You have 2 first names.
Yeah. If anybody spelled Barry the way your last
yeah,
name
the
is spelled.
spelling is a bit off for the first name, but yeah, you're not wrong. So technically, I have 3 first names: Sean Robert Barry.
Has anybody
And
ever
now-
called you Sean Barry White?
Yes, I have been called Sean Barry White before because of the deep voice.
Yeah. You didn't need to explain it, but thanks.
Oh,
If it's
Sean
not
Bon
evident.
Jovi.
I once got called, and Drake doesn't have a deep voice. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, Drake doesn't really have a deep voice, right?
No.
Someone called me at the Summit Mall in Akron, Ohio. When she heard me speak, she jumped back and was like, "You're like the white Drake," and I'm like, "I don't think that applies here." But
No,
thank
there's
you.
only one song in which his voice goes that low, and it's "Take yourself a picture when I'm standing in your town." I had the title and then I started singing the song and now I forget what the hell it's called. It's off of the Birdman album.
while we wait for Nick to come up with that answer, let's talk to you about what's going to go down in episode 67 of the Gridiron Podcast. As always, this podcast is equal parts grid and equal parts iron. The beautiful part about this is while the NFL is in the offseason, we can switch to talk about Formula One first, and then vice versa when the NFL is going. We do have some NFL news to get to this week. Stefon Diggs has a new team. Russell Wilson has a new team. The draft is coming up, so we're going to get talking to that towards the end of the show, but we are deep into the weeds of the Formula One season. Week 2, race 2, the Chinese Grand Prix. We had a sprint race. We have so much drama to talk about because the race itself, let's be honest, was a little boring. I'd give it a C-, but the drama, the tea, scalding hot.
Why, Sean?
Track.
What happened?
We will get to that in 1 second, Katie.
Oh, by the way, it was For My Town off of Birdman's Priceless album. Came out in 2009, and it also included the song that you may remember, Money to Blow. Getting it in, letting these bills fall all over your skin. I got money to blow. Come on. Somebody join me.
If it's not evident that Nick is just a white dude from Akron, it is now.
I'm also a #1 Drake hater, so never go to me to pick up any slack
Canadian
when we're
on
I was
Canadian
about to say,
crime.
the Canadian queen.
Western versus Eastern Canada, babies. I am Team Kendrick 1,000% of the way.
Oh,
and
So when your
you have a
West
brain.
Coast versus East Coast rap battle happened, was it just like, hey, I don't much care for your style of rap, eh? And just like, well, I don't much care for your style of rap, eh? Tabernacle, I don't care for none of your styles of rap.
Sean, potty mouth. I
don't
love
know what
it.
that means.
Usually
I
it's
don't
me.
know what that means. Is that a bad word? Did I say
It's
a bad
very
word?
bad.
Oh no! I thought it was just like a saying.
Go up to Quebec and then just start saying that to people.
Oh no, I swore. Everyone gets one swear word, and apparently I used mine, not knowing because I was speaking Quebecois. I don't know
Everybody
what I
gets
just said.
one.
Oh,
Everybody
I
gets
have
one.
like 3 banked at least for this episode, so I'm going to use some from other episodes that I didn't use.
That's fine. Yes,
get ready on that bleep button.
They're like PTO days. Profanities roll over on the
Yes.
Gridiron Podcast. As always, if you want to get a hold of us, you can reach us on socials. We're on Instagram at Gridiron Pod. That's on Instagram at Gridiron Pod. And then if you'd like to, you can email us at the Gridiron Podcast 3. That's the Gridiron Podcast number 3. Damn
those other two.
At gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners. We have a small but loyal following, and we do really appreciate you guys for, listening to us, downloading, subscribing. Share us
Could
with your...
It's not that small, Sean. It's at least average.
I want to give a shout out to one of our loyal listeners because I was combing for some promo out there. See if any organic promo has popped up. Shout out to Chris in Alaska. He's always over on the Twitch stream, chiming in when I'm playing college football or Madden over there. But he's also been pushing our Gridiron Pod among a lot of other people. So I've seen it out there. I appreciate it. To you specifically, and anybody else who has spread our podcast far and wide, near and dear to our hearts, to your hearts, to those who are around you. Thank you.
I'm always amazed when you send us some of the stats, Nick, and it's like, oh, our listeners are up in Germany and in Belgium and in the UK. And I'm like, that is wild to me that someone is actually taking the time in a foreign country, on a different continent, to actually, listen and download our podcast. So thank you all for listening. Again, if you want to get a hold of us, on Instagram at GridironPod, and then through email at thegridironpodcast number 3 at gmail.com. Let's get into it, guys. The Chinese Grand Prix. We had our first sprint race of the year. McLaren continues to be fast in every facet. Before we get into the scalding hot tea, let's just get through this race quickly, and then we can get to the scalding hot tea. Sound good?
I just need to know, are you saying scolding or scalding? Is it Pam with 2 M's?
Pam.
I feel like I say scolding, but I know, but it's
scalding.
I know.
But
I also
because you said it 3 times, and
I say
got
syrup
I
and tournament.
Yeah, that's because you're from Western PA. Tournament. Oh, we're going to cover the
Tournament.
MAC tournament.
I am covering the MAC tournament. Speaking of, Kent State Golden Flashes playing in the National Invitational Tournament right now, actually, as we record. Go Flashes. All right, Chinese Grand Prix sprint race. You had the top 3 of Lewis Hamilton coming home P1, dominated from the front. What took sprint pole behind him, Oscar Piastri, and then finishing up the podium for the sprint race, Max Verstappen. Your thoughts on the sprint race, Katie? As a new Ferrari fan, to see Lewis Hamilton, LH44, win in the blood red colors.
You guys know I'm such a hater of the sprint race because I find that just so much of the excitement isn't there. And I always thought, like, when Oscar won a sprint race before he won a race, it was like, oh, I'm just so disappointed. Like, he needed that big proper moment. Then Lewis wins it with Ferrari, and I'm like, single tear, like, I love the sprint race. And I'm just so happy. Like, all the feelings were there. Obviously, the next day it wasn't quite as much of a high, but...
Why, Katie? What happened?
Turned it around on you.
Yeah, but that was just, this is the one time where I'm like having to look inward, like, oh no, you're really enjoying yourself right now, and you're gonna have to talk about this on the podcast to Nick and Sean. But yeah, great sprint race, loved it.
It was cool to see just Lewis's reaction. It was cool to see him get, up there on the podium for a sprint race. Like, that's cool stuff. It didn't really carry over into the next day, though, because for the actual Chinese Grand Prix, you had a McLaren, 1-3. Lando started third? Yeah. So you had Oscar Piastri on pole, you had George Russell starting second, then you had Lando Norris starting third. I, quite frankly, did not think that McLaren were going to be good at this track because McLaren's car has never been good at slow corners, which Shanghai has a lot of. So I predicted a Ferrari win. I felt vindicated when Ferrari looked quick during the sprint race, and I was like, all right, this is just going to be one of those races where you kind of toss your hands up and say, well, let's just get as many points as we can, me speaking as a McLaren fan. But then Oscar takes pole. Lando Norris, who never really fully looked comfortable this weekend, takes
Number
third.
2 driver.
Okay, let's pump the brakes there. We're going to pump the brakes there, Katie, pump the brakes there. But Oscar Piastri gets a win in China with Lando Norris finishing P2, and then George Russell, his second podium finish, second, third place finish of the season. A wild race because at the very end, afterwards, you had both Ferraris DQ'd because they failed post-race inspection along with Pierre Gasly. So you also had a double Haas points finish. It was just a wild result. Driver of the day was Kimi Antonelli. He finished 8th behind Esteban Ocon. Yuki Tsunoda was in line for a top 10 points finish. Pits an extra time because apparently Racing Bulls is the new team that cannot strategize, and winds up P19. We'll talk about Yuki coming up. That's foreshadowing. But clearly I was wrong about McLaren's car. This is a car that is good at any track, and it's I'm not saying it's as dominant as kind of like a 2022 Red Bull. It's not, or those Mercedes teams with Valtteri and Lewis, but this is a car that can win now at every single track and should be favored almost at every single track.
Yeah,
Your guys' thoughts?
Like every time there was a close interaction between McLaren and Team X, McLaren's superiority in terms of machinery just proved itself within a lap. I think we saw that with the exchange between, who was it, Lando and George, or was it Oscar? I think it was Lando and George.
It was Lando and George, yeah.
Where George makes a great move on him to get in front because he's got warm tires. Lando's coming out of the pits.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
It was like the next lap, Lando's just like, right around.
There was
superior car.
There was no hesitation. It's like Lando Norris loses out on a place. It's net P3, and I'm like, oh man, that sucks. That was come on, not even.
Here's the thing.
The next lap on the straight. It's like, okay.
That Shanghai is deceiving because it does have some long straights. It has it has that sector 3 straight that's incredibly long. You can get a ton of speed. That's where you're going to see a lot of people try to execute overtakes on opposing drivers, but it's also got a pretty long start finish straight. It's just that it goes into that like weird snail shape thing. Then you get another you get a lot of hairpins and slow corners like you said, but there's a lot of
almost like spirals.
Yes, it's like a pinwheel. I think
it's supposed to represent a dragon's tail. I think that's what I saw.
Those track designers and their artistic ambition that never really comes through. There's a lot of straights that end in tight turns, so like there were opportunities to make runs. I wasn't surprised their car was superior. I'm not going to be surprised that their car is superior at any track until proven otherwise. So, but hell of a drive by Oscar Piastri. And then Lando, he deserves some credit for getting that car across the finish line when he was dealing with some mechanical issues, which that race had a few more laps.
I was thinking the same thing. As I was watching the end of that race, I'm thinking, damn, on the podcast this week, Nick is going to go, a few more laps. The same thing he said. Yeah,
I tell you what, a couple more laps for that man, George Russell, he'd have been across that finish line ahead of him, I tell you what.
Well, who knows how far back Lando would have finished, because he finished the race with no brakes. I mean, how scary, first of all, must that be to drive a Formula One car not knowing
downshift early.
Yeah, when you press that left foot down, and yes, they use both feet, if your car is actually going to brake or not. So he brought it home, courtesy to Lando. And it was funny, too, when he got a radio message kind of towards the end, on that second stint. A lot of people thought this would be a two-stop race. It wound up being a one-stop race that hurt Yuki because his team was like, it's a two-stop race. It was a one-stop race. And at the end of the race, McLaren's pit wall radios Lando and says, all right, let's see a little bit of pace here. Let's catch up to Oscar. And Lando's like, nah, I'm good, fam. I'm going to stay right here. I don't want to get in that turbulent air, because that was a big problem.
Doesn't have that dog in him. Doesn't have that dog in him.
We checked the x-rays.
It was a very hard race to follow in battle. Just the dirty air there at China was... I'm not talking about pollution. I'm talking about following other cars. It was very difficult. And Lando was like, it doesn't matter if I catch up to him or not. This is going to be a P2 race, and I'm going to take my P2 race. And good for him, because had he pushed a little bit more, who knows if he would have brought that car home with no brakes or not.
All gas, no brakes, baby.
All gas, no brakes. Unfortunately, Pierre Gasly was also disqualified.
Oh. Hey, and I want to congratulate Sebastian Vettel for re-becoming Ferrari's all-time points leader. That's a huge weekend for him personally. Yeah.
Context,
love that for you, Seb.
Somebody who hasn't raced in a couple of years was overtaken in the all-time points, and then the DSQ'd.
Well, and this surprised me, because this was the first time in the team's history that both Ferrari cars have been disqualified from the same race. And this checks out, because they've competed in every world championship since like 1950, and this happens when I've been a Ferrari fan for 10 minutes. So this is the natural order of when something like this will happen.
As the standings currently sit for the Constructors' Championship, McLaren, surprise, surprise, also the first time since the 80s that they have won 3 straight races, Abu Dhabi, Australia, and now China. McLaren are in first place, followed by Mercedes, then Red Bull. Williams in fourth, tied with Ferrari at 17 points apiece.
God.
3 points behind Ferrari is their customer team, Haas. So, yeah, this is...
pretty competitive this weekend, by the way.
Very competitive, but also, we're going through the full gambit of emotions here.
Yeah, fire into the sun.
Like, the Tifosi are in their fields.
Katie jumped to the last stage.
Yeah. Oh, God, we sucked in Australia. Hey, we won a sprint race. Oh, God, both of our cars got disqualified for the first time in our team's 70-year history. It's a roller coaster of emotions. How you? Yeah, I was about to say, how you riding that, Katie? How's that feeling?
It's going about as well as my life is overall. Seems pretty par for the course.
So you see that double DNF, and you're like, well, that fits.
That checks out. Yeah, of course. Great.
Can't have nothing nice in this world.
Yeah, some nice things occasionally, but then they're just ripped away from you. Just how she goes.
Like a P5-6 finish for Ferrari, which is good points for having the third fastest car on the grid right now. P5, P6, that's nothing to laugh at. We don't know how this season is going to play out. Just like McLaren last year, they were kind of in that P5-6, standings, and then, boop, there you go. They finish on top of everyone. Whoop, we got the best car. Hey, look at that. Boop, we got the fastest car.
I got your nose. Boop.
We got a week break before heading to where, Nick?
I don't know where we're going next. Where the hell are we going next?
Japan.
Oh yeah, Suzuka.
Just
legendary
giving
track.
him a layup right there.
Technical
We're not
track.
going Dutch, as Katie likes to say. Where are we going?
Sorry.
Dutch.
It's been a day. I had to listen to Russell Wilson talk today. Okay, excuse my lack of memory.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Nick,
Giants country.
Before we, you know what? I'll save it for NFL talk.
Let's
talk.
Giant.
Yeah, we're going to Suzuka in 2 weeks' time, or next weekend. So we have a week off. We're not going to do our podium predictions this week. We'll do that next week. But I do want to say,
Or I can take the week off. That's fine too.
Katie's just producing on the fly. Sure, we can do that too. We all deserve a week off.
Not that I don't love hanging out with you guys and our loyal listeners.
But Katie's always down to just take a week off.
God, that's gonna stick with me for days.
Just take a week off. Just take a week off. Fine, Katie. We'll just PTO approved.
Great. I
All
still
right,
have some
let's talk about
carryover
Suzuka.
PTO days and swear words, so
And swear words.
Like the salary cap, all of this rolls over.
And none of
Only a
it
portion of the
matters.
salary cap does. The points don't matter.
All right, let's roll on to Suzuka because we're going to have some major breaking news, and I don't know how to preface that because normally we're like, hey, breaking news, but hey, we're going to have breaking news. It's all but confirmed at this point. Liam Lawson is out at Red Bull and going to be replaced by Yuki Tsunoda. They're going to swap seats starting in Suzuka. So Yuki Tsunoda going home to Japan, and he will be in that second Red Bull seat. It's been basically reported by every major motorsport outlet. It just hasn't been formally announced. There was an emergency meeting yesterday on Tuesday at Red Bull HQ in Milton Keynes in England, and that was about not just the performance of the car, but the performance of their driver, Liam Lawson.
Why? What
was
happened?
Just been not much. Not much has happened. He's been terrible. He's been absolutely terrible. Qualifying dead last twice, starting from the pit lane. Just Liam Lawson cannot get a handle on that car. And I have many thoughts about this, but knowing this now, Katie, you are a huge Yuki stan. He's going to the most difficult seat in world racing. It's like going to be quarterback of the Browns. It's not like normally this does not end up well. So what are your thoughts?
I do have some thoughts. Can I start with Liam? I feel like I should start with Liam and then
Go
move
ahead.
into Yuki. The haters said he couldn't do it,
Why does Nick have a
and they
Red
were
Bull on
correct.
his
Honestly,
shoulder?
great call from the haters.
Yes, I do have a Red Bull car on my shoulder because that's how precarious this position
up.
is for Yuki Tsunoda. Katie, continue.
You guys know this. Was I hoping this would happen? Yes, I've been extremely vocal about that. Am I shocked that it's happening 2 races in? Yes, and I fear that I may have hate watched a bit too close to the sun with Liam Lawson. This is all so wild, and this is such an interesting scenario for the Red Bull team to be in, because for many people, it was so obvious that Yuki should have been in that car in the first place, right? But he wasn't. So now, if he's bad, it shows me that there are issues with the drivability of that second car. Yuki has consistently outperformed Liam at every level. If he's good, it's almost embarrassing for the team that the solution was there all along, but instead they hold on to Checo for a wild amount of time, and then they elevate Liam, and the driver was there, and they overlooked him yet again. And this is where I think having a sister team can kind of bite you in the ass. Like, I don't really see a situation where they come out of this move unscathed. Like, Liam out-qualifying Yuki and providing a direct comparison from how the Racing Bull is driving compared to the second Red Bull, like, that would be wild. And I obviously don't want to think about what happens if Yuki is as bad as Liam. Luckily, the bar is so low that it's, like, on the ground.
The
But
bar is on the floor.
It's on the ground. But do they send him back down? Do they swap? Do they boot him out of the sport? There's so many layers, like, because other times, like, they just will drop people. I have to wonder if this is where we find out if Toto and Checo were onto something. Because one of my favorite moments in the sport's history is when Toto said to Horner that Checo has been saying the car is fucked, and then Horner is fighting him on it, and Toto goes, I have it printed out. Do you guys remember?
Yes.
Checo's been saying the car is shit. You fix
Checo's
your
been
car.
saying the car's fucked.
You fix your
I
car.
have it printed out. We get to finally see, I feel like,
We
because
do.
Yuki is the one that I think will drive the strongest in that car, but I think this is where we get a chance to see, like, if that car is actually screwed.
This is like in that episode of Jersey Shore when that girl wrote that letter to her fellow housemate about how that guy was cheating.
Weren't they at an internet cafe when they were writing?
Blast from the
So did
past.
that
I've
one.
not thought about Jersey Shore in a
Sidebar,
good
did I ever
decade.
tell you guys about when I was at a pool in Vegas and then the Jersey Shore crew showed up and then filmed there and then DJ Pauly D did a set?
Yes, you did. Actually,
Okay.
I think on this show, in
Yeah, I
fact.
think it was on the show, actually. Anyways,
Humble
for our newer
brag,
listeners.
Katie. We get it. Your life is awesome.
Please see my note earlier. It's not always awesome what's going on. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Like, I am so excited for Yuki. Am I worried? Yeah, absolutely. But he did, like, the bullshit with that seat and that car and everything aside, like, at the end of the day, Yuki did earn it. And he does deserve it. Hopefully, I think we can all agree on this, that we just hope it goes well for him.
Yeah, it's a precarious position because of what you just described, and it's also a really unfair amount of pressure to do it to him in Japan, in the home race.
With the pressure of a home race.
With no time to get used to the car.
Mm-hmm.
Another example of dysfunction, operational dysfunction on the part of Red Bull. And also another example of their lack of patience. We've seen this happen to Alex Albon, to Pierre Gasly, to
everyone
now
but
Liam
Checo.
Lawson. Yeah, and I would think that money played a part with Checo and his sponsorships, and money's playing a part here with Honda's money with Yuki Tsunoda. And frankly, as much as I think this was the right move, like you said, it was a move that they should have made prior to the season and given him ample time to acclimate to the car instead of listening to people like, I don't know, Helmut Marko, who preferred the blonde-haired Liam Lawson
White
over
person?
Yuki Tsunoda. Yeah.
I'll say it.
I mean, my God. Like, and you know, I sent a text to another group chat about this, or they were talking about it, and I was like, well, that was an obvious change they should have made. Like, and they're like, well, who's to say that he's going to be any better in the car? And it's like, well, it's not that I can guarantee it, because, you know, nothing in life is guaranteed, but also because it's a sport that's difficult to decipher. But like Liam Lawson, you basically couldn't get worse. The guy started the last race from the pit lane. He was completely uncompetitive in that car. It's just shocking that they did it after 2 races. Like, if Suzuka is in July, does this happen after 13 races or whatever it might be? Or is it because they're going to Suzuka that is why they did this now?
You'd think a summer break would be an appropriate time for these
That's
moves
usually
to
when
happen.
they would do something like that. It's shocking that they would do it right now, but it also speaks to the fact that they are feeling the pressure being applied by Sean's team, and the fact that McLaren has a clearly dominant car, and they're seeing their chances already slipping away, because in these weekends they're getting points out of Max, near maximum points from Max, right? Like, based on the fact that he's not going to finish any higher.
Max Verstappen is in third place all by himself.
And he's accounted for all of their constructors' points.
That's
what
I'm saying.
Like, smoked.
Yeah,
so they
that's
have
what
to do
I'm
it
saying.
now. That's why I understand why they do it now. It's kind of like what they did with Gasly in the past when they were chasing Mercedes. They're like, we don't have the time to be patient anymore. And I think that also explains why they didn't make the change from Checo last year. But talk about bungling an entire situation with drivers. Going back to early last year, when you could have gone after Carlos Sainz, and it appears as though you were never interested or in the running, either or. All the way to the point now where the guy you chose to replace Checo with, you've already dumped after 2 races. My God. Talk about a team that doesn't know what the hell it wants. I mean,
from the top
Go
down.
to therapy, Red Bull. Go to therapy.
From the top down, this is just organizational failure.
Yes.
Last year, when you saw Liam in that RB car next to Yuki Tsunoda, was Yuki the better driver? Yes. Was it, in my mind, so astronomically different that like you had to absolutely take Yuki? No, not really, honestly, because they kind of were similar. Honda had their money in Yuki. Red Bull had their money in Liam. Anytime you invest in a driver, you know, a prospect, normally you're going to lean towards the guy that you have your money invested in. Remember, Yuki is a Honda guy, not a Red Bull guy. There was a $10 million deal, and this is all coming from F1 photographer Kim Illman. I saw a video on TikTok where he was reporting all this. You know, Honda had $10 million per season invested into Yuki. That was $10 million going to Red Bull to keep Yuki in that team, whatever team that was. This offseason, that was added to $20 million. That was upped to $20 million to put Yuki in the second RB, to the second Red Bull seat, not RB. And Red Bull said, no, we're going to take Liam anyway. So not only did, and again, I think Yuki should have been in that second seat just because of his longevity at the team. He's driven that Red Bull car before in tests and all that stuff. Like, he has a familiarity with the team. So does Liam, being a Red Bull junior driver. But, like, I'm a fan of, you know, paving your own way, right? You got to pay your dues. Yuki has done that. I think he at least should have gotten a shot at that. The fact now that they're doing this 2 races into the season, and Nick, right, by the way, that $20 million deal still on the table. So this is as much monetary as it is organizational. Like, should Yuki get a shot at this? Yes. But then what do you do with Liam? Because if Yuki is also crap in that car, which he could very well be, because that car is designed for Max Verstappen. And I've seen a lot of people saying, well, even by arguing that it's the car's fault, that's insinuating that, you guys said this, a white man can't be bad at driving. No, we're not saying that. We're saying this is such a delicate car to drive. The only person capable of doing it well is Max Verstappen. It is so super sensitive to his needs and his wants that you're completely forgetting that you have a second driver. You've done this to yourself.
Yeah, but the problem with that is this, Sean, and you're right, they have done that to themselves, but the problem with that is Max is also struggling with the car.
Yeah, no, the car isn't near where it was in 2022 and 2023. Like, absolutely. Like, you're not wrong.
He lost 2 places in the opening lap in the race last weekend.
Yeah.
Like, it's not under his control either.
Also,
Alex
can
Albon
you remember...
Go ahead.
Can you remember the last time that 2 teammates have such vastly different cars to where their front ends are completely different? Max has like a wider nosed, higher front end, whereas Liam, now Yuki, has just last year's car, the very slim nose that goes down to the wings. I mean, they're different
no, because
cars.
I could see that with a team that didn't have money, but they don't have a problem with money. So no.
And we've seen it when one car gets an upgrade and then another one does maybe a few races later. Like we saw that with like
but
Logan
not so
and
noticeably
Alex,
different,
but not for a full season and not the
Yeah.
overall like design of the car.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's weird that clearly all their eggs are in one basket. They are trying to get Max Verstappen as many world championships as possible, and they've completely neglected that they even have a second driver. Right.
Well, they threw it away last year too, but not on their own volition.
It's not automatic for them anymore. It feels like it was automatic for a couple of years, and then when Checo...
And now you don't have Adrian Newey designing the car, so that's another negative for them.
How are things going at Aston Martin?
I think he literally just started like last week, though.
I think that they want to fast forward to 2026.
Yeah.
Right.
Nick and I talked about that on the episode where you weren't here, Sean, but I think with the Red Bull, we might still be seeing enough of Adrian Newey. And I think with Aston Martin, it'll take a while before all of these are put into effect with the car. Like things like that don't just happen overnight in that sport.
Right. No, he had to wait for that contract to expire or some sort of, waiting period to be over before he could actually even enter the building, which was like a couple of weeks ago. So that's still not his car. So we'll see. Yeah, next year he's probably firmly designing the 2026 car. But let me ask you guys, what do we think?
Stroll.
2 points finishes in a row, I'm not going to say, but Lance Stroll is having a sneaky okay season. He's got that kind of puppy in him.
I cede the floor to the Canadian. By all means,
Katie
take the floor, Katie.
Canadian.
Take it.
I'm not putting a lot of stock into that.
Yeah,
I mean, like, talk to me
let's
like...
finish.
What's that?
I was going to say, let's finish up the Yuki talk here real
Yeah.
quick. Do we think Yuki is going to do any better in this car?
Yes.
Because now the pressure is firmly on him. Like you said, Nick, he's at his home race. Like, the pressure will already be on him. Now he's in that second Red Bull seat. Do we think he's going to do better than Liam Lawson?
What's better? 15th?
P19?
Yeah.
I was going to say, mathematically, he has to. Liam is losing to the Saubers.
Yeah. He's got to, but it all depends on what their bar is for success.
Mm-hmm.
A points finish would be a successful weekend, I think.
And getting into Q2 in quali.
It's been in range for points finishes in the last couple of races and kind of been screwed by strategy or whatever else. Yeah, so
I really hope that there's no nefarious plot behind this. Fine, you guys want to see Yuki in that second seat? Here's Yuki, because he would be easier to drop even than Liam, because once again, he's not a Red Bull driver. He's a Honda driver. So
now he's a Red Bull driver.
Now he is, but they could be setting him up for failure. You never know with this sport.
Let's advance that just out of curiosity. Do they go back to Liam if that's the case?
I don't know what you do. Like, screw it.
I don't think they do.
As the wheel turns, like what's going on if he doesn't succeed? Where do they go from there? They've backed themselves into a corner already.
They're just gonna carry one car. It's just gonna be Max.
No, you know what they do? They put Max into the Racing Bull, and then he wins the World Driver Championship in the better car.
He might very well, because that car's not terrible.
Electric.
That's the outcome I want in all of this, is that they're like, oh, one of our teams is actually way better than the other. Let's move Max to the Racing Bull.
You just broke my brain. What does this mean
Max
for
Verstappen
Christian
and
Horner?
V-Carb, world champions.
Oh,
Scary
and then
thought.
Isaac. That would be a really cool pairing, actually. I wasn't ready to see Isaac and Yuki be done as a pairing because they were one of my favorite pairings on the grid.
Apparently, Max also wanted Liam to stay in the car because, I mean, honestly, as a professional, yes, you can realize when someone is struggling, but like 2 races, like the knee be jerking right there.
Liam also hasn't, like, I haven't heard a lot of sympathy for him. And honestly, like, he hasn't dealt with it. He couldn't have dealt with it in a worse way. Like, he is, like, out there yapping and running his mouth, and he's being super rude, and he's being super cocky. And then Yuki's been out here, like, very quiet and very graceful and just doing his thing. And, like,
Yuki?
I haven't...
The hothead? What?
It shows how far he's come, honestly, because I feel like a Yuki 3-4 years ago would have been losing his mind about this very publicly.
Oh, yeah.
But it's funny because I haven't seen a lot of sympathy for Liam, and he hasn't necessarily been given the best shot. Like, there have been a few things, like you guys mentioned, like, he wasn't necessarily set up to succeed, but man, he did himself 0 favors in his attitude throughout all of this, to where everybody's like, yeah, get him out of there. Like, I feel like everyone I know is firmly Team Yuki in this.
He's very punchable. Like, his personality is very punchable.
God,
I know
is
what
he
it is
punchable?
about his face, but I just want to punch it. He's got a punchable face, you know? You suffer from punch face syndrome.
Who has the most punchable face in the NFL?
I thought you were about to say F1, and I was about to say Lance Stroll.
That's not nice. Really? I don't think he has the most punchable face. His dad, maybe.
The very
Lawrence
question
does.
itself is not a nice question. You're asking who do you want to punch, whose face do you want to punch the most? In F1, it's Lance Stroll. Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, I just did. He's a very lovely person. He's just not a very good driver because he's a nepo baby. But I'd say Helmut Marko. Liam Lawson.
no, we're just talking about
Spend the
drivers.
rest of the
It looks,
show
Helmut
thinking
Marko
about
looks
this.
like he's already been punched a lot.
Oh. It's a real leatherneck. All right, what's next?
Well, no, answer the
Update
question,
from
Nick.
Chicago, Sean. Less than a minute left in the first half between Loyola Chicago and the Kent State University Golden Flashes. Flashes are down 1.
Go Flashes.
Go Flashes.
Goal Flashes, 34-33.
Are we flying to Indianapolis if this happens, if we're in the Final Four?
I could be convinced. The Gridiron Fund to send Sean and Nick and potentially Katie if she's willing to cross the border into our country, which if she's not, I understand.
That's
Elbows up, baby.
Indianapolis.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Has been started. You can find us at a link that has not been provided because I'm not starting that. All right.
Would I go to the States right now? Well, Nick, probably not.
And I digest. All right.
That's a all back right there.
Just tiptoeing around this one. Just tiptoeing around so much. All right. So anything further on the whole Yuki Liam
No.
debacle? No.
No,
All
I hope
right.
it doesn't end
Let's get
poorly.
on
That's
to
all I
our.
wish.
So we can take next week off unless there's major breaking news. Let's go on to our podium predictions for the Japanese Grand Prix. Suzuka, who wants to go first?
Did I actually pull getting next week off? Is that real?
Yeah, why not? Is that all right with you guys?
I mean, unless oh god, I don't even want to talk about it because I'm going to speak it into existence.
Say it. Beetlejuice it.
If the person we dislike the most on this show signs with the Steelers next week,
We got to do an emergency episode.
We gotta do an
it
emergency
would be
podcast.
news.
That was going to be my
Would
answer for most
news.
punchable face, by the way.
Me too.
Yeah, you're probably right. Me 3. Yeah. And he be my team's quarterback.
Ooh.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I know.
it's okay. Hate that
I
for
know.
you.
Well, do we want to do podium predictions this week or not?
This is probably a conversation we should have had before the show, but that's
No.
why you come here.
Let's
for the
save it
raw
just
and
in case.
unfiltered.
All right, let's do podium predictions next week. If we have to, we'll do a super short 20-minute podcast where we just give podium predictions and we post it to the internet. That'd be fun.
Great.
Let's then shift gears, guys, to the NFL. Free agency rolls on. The news today, just breaking today, or last night, Russell Wilson signing a 3-year deal worth, what is it, $69 million? Nice.
Nice.
With the New York Giants. So they lose to Russell Wilson's sweepstakes.
That was the Stefon Diggs deal.
Yeah, it was. And wasn't
They
T.
didn't
Higgins also...
They didn't give Russ $69 million.
No, they didn't.
Could you imagine Russell Wilson getting $69 million?
I think between Jameis and Russell, I think they're only getting like 14.
Russ,
Okay.
yes, you're correct, Katie. Russ is 10.5 over 1. Jameis is 8 over 2. Russ can earn up to $21 million, but that includes incentives that might be as much as like win the Super Bowl for all we know.
Could you imagine? Could you even let yourself
I would
for
like
1
to
second
not envision that.
imagine? So Russell Wilson signs with the New York Football Giants. Their quarterback room is now Tommy DeVito, Jameis Winston,
Rigatoni.
Hey, Tommy Cutlets over here. Where's the chicken palm?
and Russell Wilson. This is going to be one of the most interesting pregame huddles as both Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston try to give their own pep talks. A crossword will not be gotten in.
I think the funniest possible outcome for me is that they draft Shedeur Sanders and then Tommy DeVito outplays them all in camp and he's their starter. That's best case for me personally.
Tommy has that Italian agent, Sean Stellato, right?
Yeah.
It looks like he's like
Inside-
straight out of The Sopranos.
I want you guys to know that I saw Sean Stellato at the hotel in Indianapolis at the front desk. He wears the fedora without the suit. He wears a jacket that says Stellato Sports emblazoned across the back and the fedora with jeans. So yes, he's got all the gumption and the good Italian energy. I think that's the thing within him, driven by his agent to overcome all the adversity, rise up the depth chart. I'm just kidding. He stinks.
That's hot. That's some aura right there, wearing the fedora with no suit.
Aura with the fedora.
That fedora aura. There's nothing.
John Stellato got the aura with the fedora. Hey, got the aura with the fedora. Sorry for watching Baker Mayfield do the Tommy Cutlets celebration after scoring a touchdown against the Giants. I mean, that's just Tommy Cutlets is no more.
Hey, we'll see, brother.
Yeah, that's
We'll see.
Russ expects to be the starter. He did his press conference today. And he said a bunch of Russisms. I'm super excited to work with a bunch of young, talented guys. I'm going to be the leader in the room. And some of my best football memories are at MetLife Stadium. And Aaron Rodgers is a great player. And no, I don't, feel disrespected that I was clearly the fallback option for every team chasing Aaron Rodgers. And I don't know, dude. I think that Brian Daboll went on record late last year when Drew Lock had a career day and a win against the Colts, which coincidentally pushed them out of position to draft a quarterback, leading to what they have now in Jameis and Russ. And he said, yeah, things, do work. They are easier. You can win when you get good quarterback play. And did like a little to the press, like, when you get good quarterback play, like looking at you, Joe Shane, like, give me a damn quarterback. So now he's gotten two vets, one who is still praying to the gods to deliver him from pick sixes, and another who prays to the gods about everything else and does it in a very demonstrative fashion that rubs some people the wrong way. And we'll see how that plays in New York if they suck, because we all know New York media. Russ's 1 year in Pittsburgh showed us that he could still play at a competent level. I don't know if he gets any higher than that. He's got some talent at receiver.
I was going to say competent is about the ceiling there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, he's probably good for more than 4 wins, and that would be a minor success for them. But this is also a franchise that's coaching and roster building and for their jobs. So it's going to be pressure there outside the New York media, and we'll see what happens. But it felt like one of these guys is going to go there and ends up being Russ. Doesn't excite me, but maybe they'll at least be a little bit more watchable than they were the last few years, which is a start, I suppose.
You almost feel like everyone kept saying that Russ was going to be the second domino to fall, right? Wherever Aaron Rodgers decides to go, Russ will then go where he didn't go. The Browns were an option there for a second. I'm kind of surprised at the same time that the Giants pulled the trigger on Russ first.
I actually am. It's refreshing to see the teams in the NFL go, piss off Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
We're not waiting weeks. We're gonna go figure this stuff out. We got other things to handle.
We're not
Russ,
waiting.
come on down.
Yeah, who would
want to? Nice.
Who would wait, right, for Aaron Rodgers?
41-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
That'd be
We
so
wait for
embarrassing.
We wait for 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers, but not 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
Doesn't know what it's doing.
That one team, it's still who could? Why, Sean? Who? Who could it
Why,
be?
Sean? What happened? Oh, crap, I am Sean.
You asked my question.
Yeah, I've been asked by so many people like how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, I don't care. That's my only response. I said it on this podcast 2 weeks. I don't care anymore. Do it, don't do it.
I don't care anymore.
An SHIT. I don't care.
No. Okay, well, good way to dance around cussing there, Sean, I guess. Katie, you still have your full allotment for the show?
No, I said 2.
Oh, well, I obviously
Maybe
wasn't
3.
listening.
I'm so accustomed to you cursing that I didn't even hear them. I thought you had your full allotment too.
Just roll off the tongue
I
like
was
it was
imitating Toto, so it almost doesn't count.
That's true.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Imitation cusses
That's
don't
like
count.
acting, the lines. You know,
The kiss wasn't real. It was
yeah,
just
the kiss
for the
wasn't
camera.
real, guys.
Well,
I know
fuck.
tongue was involved, but it wasn't for real. It was just for the camera. I was
felt
told
nothing.
to elicit passion, and so that's why we went from standard kiss to French kiss. What do you want me to do?
I felt nothing. By the way, what are you doing after this? You want to go get some coffee?
Yeah, a little post-show coffee. Yeah, a little late-night pick-me-up.
All right. Stefon Diggs, he signs the 3-year, $69 million deal with the
Nice.
New England Patriots.
Nice.
What do we think about this? Drake May gets a receiver. He's got some tread on those tires, or has a lot of miles on those tires, so the tread is now wearing down.
Yeah, that's actually what kills me about that phrase, Sean, because it's often used. I've used it myself. Usually when describing running backs, Najee Harris coming out of Alabama, where he had a ton of carries in 4 years, not even 4 years at Alabama. But frankly, you don't have more. Tires have the most tread when they're new. We know this from F1. Football F1 crossover.
Hey.
Let's go, baby. And
But Nick,
yet
F1
yeah.
tires don't have any tread. They're slicks.
they got rubber.
Actually,
Actually, there's no tread pattern on the tire. They're slicks. They're racing slicks. At one time, they did in the past. I think it's a little
Actually,
bit
the
of-
wets do have a bit of tread.
inters, yeah.
The inters and the full wets have a traction pattern in order to dissipate water away from the tire to improve grip.
We're getting way off track here. Go for it, Nick.
That's what we do. Now, I think that I actually wanted him to go to Seattle because they needed receivers. That was before they signed Cooper Kupp. And maybe that might have been after they signed Cooper Kupp that I wrote that. But this is a nice fit, too. This is fine. Drake May needs receivers. They clearly needed more options. Jalen Polk was a big disappointment for them last year. Kayshon Boutte was a lower round pick who's done decent at spots, but like Demario Douglas has kind of been their best option. They really missed Jacoby Myers from when he went to the Raiders, and they need more options. They could use a tight end too. The Patriots are in talent collection mode, and 3 years, $69 million, dollars does not necessarily suggest that you're just collecting talent, but they're like going to continue to collect talent on the offensive line, and they should at receiver too, and just give yourself as many options as possible because they have to increase the level of competition to actually form a competent team, because that's not what they were last year. So this is fine. I'd be curious to see how the contract is structured. I would imagine a lot of that money is up front since they have so much cap space. I had a guy stop me at the gym last night. He's like, how do the Patriots give? And I didn't even know about the signing at this point because it happened between me getting off of work and going to the
That's
gym.
how you found out?
Yeah.
Bro.
He's like, let me...
Bro,
and I shouldn't
Stefon
impersonate
Diggs,
this.
$69 nice million.
Yeah. I shouldn't impersonate him this way because he's actually a really nice guy. But just for
Hopefully
the...
he listens to the podcast.
I doubt he does. Just for the retelling of the story, yeah, $69 million. I think I even went nice when he said it, but
Yeah, you did.
it's a reaction thing. I have a nice video to send you guys, by the way, about when it was 69 degrees out the other night.
Great.
Yeah, took it just for you.
Children. You're all children.
For your eyes only. But yeah, it was definitely one of those deals where you're like, well, we have so much cap space to spend, why not? Like, and he was like, how do they give $69 million to Stefon Diggs coming off an ACL? I'm like, because they have $97 million in cap this year. They got to spend it somewhere. So spend it on him. Why not? See what he's got. Maybe they get a good year from him. He's healthy all year. Drake May needs guys, and that's a guy that you can pair him with and see what happens. But other than that, I mean, I don't expect the Patriots to be great either. They'll be better than they were last year because they've added guys like the Robert Spillane types of the world, Vrabel guys on the defensive side of the ball.
Real
So they'll be tougher.
journeyman.
But I mean, how pissed off can you be about not getting targets in New England? Like, you're gonna get targets if you're healthy, and you're gonna get paid for it. So
At what point is it embarrassing that you have that much cap space because nobody has wanted to sign big long-term deals with your franchise anymore?
And because you weren't willingly signing guys. Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Prior to Milton Williams' contract, Tom Brady existed as the highest paid Patriot on an annual average salary in the franchise's history.
Yikes.
$25 million for a quarterback.
Who's like known for taking a pay cut so he can have everybody that he wants and win.
Yeah.
Bill
Great.
Belichick's just up there like, I'll give you $2 million for 1 year.
They're
Take it or
making
leave it.
60 now. Yeah.
Whatever.
All
Suck
right,
anyway.
Eagles at
Take
North
$4 million
Carolina.
and shut up.
Have you seen my 24-year-old girlfriend? Anyway,
I was just about to ask,
see
how's
me.
your young girlfriend? You guys look like you're having a great time.
does anybody want to comment on that? Have you seen that?
On my legs,
That's
straight up in the air.
All right. Do you want to play airplane with
we've
me
all
on the
seen
beach?
the picture, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Love your Belichick impression so much.
Are you ready for the airplane to take off, Jordan?
Vroom, vroom, here comes the airplane.
Actually, it's very fitting for a pilot. We are currently flying at 35,000 feet.
69,000 feet.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm in 33A. Nice. This is BB, your pilot speaking. We are starting our descending process. Coming into Detroit here. Temperature is 41 degrees. My girlfriend Jordan is waiting for us at the gate. Thanks for flying United. Fly the friendly skies. All right, we have derailed at an incredible
We've derailed
rate
so
here.
much. Anything else to talk on the NFL
At
front,
a rate
guys?
no one has ever derailed.
Oh, that is, yeah. This was
We have
a
derailed
derail.
off the planet. My God. The Vikings GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah answered Aaron Rodgers' questions today and said what I told you guys was the case last week. They talked. They didn't come close to an agreement. I don't think they're interested in him as anything more than a veteran backup. And Aaron Rodgers, I don't think, wants to come back to play football to sit on the bench behind anybody. It sounds like J.J. McCarthy's going to be the guy, as we expect. And the Titans are doing a little bit of flirting. They're showing a little bit of cleavage, a little bit of ankle, a little bit of that low cut V top with that number 1 pick. They're trying to make it look pretty. A lot of makeup, just got its hair done. Ready to go out on the town. Anybody want taking calls? Taking calls. I don't know if we want
Wine
Cam
and
Ward or
dining
not.
and never mind.
Nah. Whatever happens, the coffee. Gonna go get a coffee after the show with Sean Barie.
It happened just a dinner and a movie, Katie. My gosh.
You don't know what I was going to say, Sean. Yeah, you do absolutely do. It's been the theme of the show.
Hand holding.
And holding.
We got to hold hands. We got all the way to first base.
My favorite
Cute.
old school term for romance is heavy petting.
I don't like that.
Love
I don't
it
like
so
that one.
much.
There's
don't
no
like
way
that
to
one.
read it or hear it and not be grossed out by the idea.
I don't like that one.
As opposed to light petting.
Yeah. Like, what is light petting? Is like that how you treat a cat?
I was going to say something, but I'm just going to save it for
Come
after
here,
the pod.
Garfield.
No, say it. We're always the weird ones, Sean. You be weird. We're always the weird ones.
This has been episode 67 of the Gridiron
Couple of
Podcast.
freaks
Thanks
out here.
so much for listening to us tonight. I promise it's not always this weird. Who am I kidding?
Yeah, don't
Yes, it
bullshit a
is.
bullshitter.
We'll be back next week for potentially Aaron Rodgers signing somewhere and or retiring and our Japanese Grand Prix predictions. I almost forgot the word there for a second. So we'll see you next week on the Gridiron Podcast for episode 68 for Katie and Nick.
67.
I'm Sean. I said 67.
He said next week's 68.
Oh.
Sean, where can they find us?
I don't even know anymore. As always, you can find us on Instagram at GridironPod. That's on IG at GridironPod. And you can email us as well. We'd love to hear from you. You can email us at the Gridiron Podcast 3. That's the Gridiron Podcast number 3. Damn those other two. At gmail.com. As always, live life in the fast lane. Good night.
And stick around, because 2 episodes from now, episode 69.
Nice.
Good night, Canada.
Good night, Reagan.